the light is very low. I got a low shutter speed, the image came blurred. It's shaky image. Now, if you look at the situation, the light is going down very fast. So the common question is, what kind of setting I need to have in low light photography? Now let's look at the challenges what you face in low light situation. One is, because of the low light, your autofocusing will start hunting. So depending on what kind of focusing point you use, combined with the focusing sensor associated with that focusing point, so your autofocusing may be little slow or it will start hunting. That is the first challenge what you have. Second challenge is, because of the low light situation, the shutter speed what you get may be quite low, which what I just got, and the image got blurred. Okay, shake, blur, all those things comes into picture. So these are two major challenges what you face in low light situation. How to overcome that? The first one, autofocusing. Now you need to understand as to what kind of autofocusing sensor your camera supports. Cross type, non-cross type, dual cross type. Most of the time, the center autofocusing point is going to be your fastest autofocusing point. So in low light situation, my advice is to go with the center autofocusing point. Yes, your composition may be compromised. Now for me, getting the image in focus is the high priority compared to composition at that point of time. Of course, there are workarounds which are used to get the composition properly, even using the center autofocusing point, using the back button compose, back button focusing, compose, focus and recompose, those techniques. Okay, so the advice is to go with the dual cross type or the cross type autofocusing sensor associated with the center autofocusing point. So there you overcome the challenge of low light autofocusing issue. Second one, shutter speed, which is way low in case of low light photography. There what you have to do, the only option is basically to increase your ISO. So let's look at this situation. I am at ISO 400. So ISO 400, and let me see, aperture at f5.6. The lowest available aperture of this lens is what I am using. So f5.6, ISO 400. There you go. Wow. So some nice action happening. The shutter speed what I got is 1/200th of a second. Not good for this action photography. So 1/200th of a second at ISO 400. The way the combination works, using the theory of reciprocity, if you see, when you double your ISO, your shutter speed doubles. So 1/250, yeah, 1/250 if I get shutter speed which is low at ISO 400, from ISO 400 I change it to ISO 800, shutter speed goes to 1/500, it doubles. So this is a simple formula you have to remember for low light photography. In aperture priority, doubling your ISO will double your shutter speed. Keep that in mind. So here, given the situation, I look at the shutter speed 1/250, ISO 400. There you go. More action happening. Late evening is when a lot of other activities happen. Beautiful light falling in. Low light situation. Okay, of course, when I say beautiful light, it's the low light reflection which is coming in this case. So go ahead, increase your ISO so that the shutter speed increases to get the shutter speed what you want. Of course, the challenge there is when you increase your ISO, noise comes into picture. That is where the camera's noise performance capabilities comes in. So if you see, it's a mix of everything when it comes to bird photography in low light situation, camera's autofocusing, ISO performance. So these two are very important parameters which you have to check when you're trying to buy a camera. Okay, so that is how you arrive at a particular camera setting in case of low light photography for birds. Go ahead, ISO, autofocusing point. These are the two things you have to play around with.